Hello friends, welcome to Rita's Paper Motif. Today I wanted to share some product that I've been playing with. It is our Linked Together Masks. So before I share that with you though, quickly I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Rita. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I like to create cards, and scrapbook pages as well as 3D projects. I like to share those creations with you and how I created them in hopes to inspire you to create as well and to share your creations with those that matter in your life. So let's go ahead and get going today. I did quickly before we get going, I just wanted to remind you that our January through April mini catalog is going to be retiring or non-existent or not current as of the end of April. And so if you have some product in here that you really like and you've been waiting to get, then you may want to jump on that. So yes, so remember that. And then our annual catalog, so we've had that for a year now. That's also going to retire at the end of April. So in May, we'll be getting a new annual catalog. Now, if you don't have an annual catalog and you'd like one, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to send you a complimentary catalog. But also know that if you go to ritaspapermotif.com, there on the home page, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll be able to click a button and go directly to the catalog. So we've got you covered. I also wanted to just tell you something. It's a warning, I guess, or it's information you may or may not already know. But our cardstock is going to be increasing in price a little bit. So the mills that mill our paper are charging Stampin' Up! More, so they have to charge us a little more. Now I can't tell you how much they're going up because I don't know, but here's my suggestion. That will happen the 1st of May. So if you are budgeting out or you want to stock up, now would be the time. Also remember that in May we'll be getting some brand new in colors. So if we look at, let me just take you there quickly. I know you're anxious to see those cards, but I really think this is important for us to talk about. Let me find that, the colors. All right, so every year we have some new colors that are called in colors, right? And so they last for 2 years. So let's see, this is not the page. Let me get there. Here we go. All right, so when we get a new catalog, there's a set, 5 colors that are going to be retiring. We don't know if they'll come back in the future. At one point, I would have told you probably not, but we've seen colors come back. They maybe joined a family. We don't know yet, but I will tell you that the Copper Clay, Wild Wheat, Boho Blue, Moody Mauve, and the Pebble Path will be retiring as the 1st of May. So if you don't have all those colors and you want them, now would be a time to get them. And then also the cardstock, because it's going to go up, right? But also like your refills. So if you already have these in colors in ink pads, then consider getting a refill so that you're, you can refresh them when you feel like you need to. Now the colors that just were new this catalog will be here for another year. So in 2026 they'll retire. But if you look at the catalog, it does tell you when they're retiring. So these colors that are retiring came to us new in 23, and now in 25 they're going to be retiring. So I did just want to share that with you because it is the end of March, so you have all of April. But also, you know how things sometimes will go out of stock. So I just wanted you to know that. I feel like it's my job to let you know those things. All right, let's get going. So what I wanted to share with you today are some cards that I made using the let's see, do I need to put a dark piece of paper under here so you could see? Maybe so. Let me get a dark piece of paper. So these masks, or I call them stencils, but Stampin' Up! Calls them masks. These are part of a bundle, of the Linked Together bundle. But you can buy those things separately if you want. And while we have a stamp set that goes with this and some dies, I just been playing with the masks. So they're called layering masks, which means you could use them, if you use them all together in order, whatever that you would, whatever background layer that you would get would look something like that. But you could just, you know, this is great if you wanted a lattice look. And lattice is kind of, actually I did a video on lattice. I didn't have a mask like this. I did it by layering, and it was one of the most popular videos that I ever did. So lattice is really kind of important, and especially with the storybook suite or collection, these are really like inventive, creative. They just offer so many opportunities. So there's that lattice, and then you can kind of give it some dimension just by using these other three. And then this one is really cool. You could use it together if you wanted to. So you could see how that might work. And then there's this one. We're going to be using this one today. We're going to be using it by itself. So let's get going. I'll remove this. I don't think we need it again. Now, when I am doing my blending on my paper, I used to get out, and I still sometimes do, I would get out a piece of cardboard or tag board and lay it down on my surface and then tape everything. So that was, you know, I did that. It worked fine. But I did some, let's see, I did some work for, or creating for a designer. And I got this free sticky mat. So that's what I'm going to use today. I've only used it a couple of times before, and I never took off the sticky background because I really like that grid. So I am going to leave it on here, although I think it's designed to come off. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this mask, and I'm going to use some Mossy Meadow ink. I'm also going to use my green blending brush. Now, I will tell you that I don't have a blending brush for every color, but I do have one for every color family, and that works just fine for me. So I'm also going to take some, I also will need some scrap paper, and we'll see why in just a second. So let's see, that one's kind of, all right, here we go. So this is just scratch paper, probably a printing job gone wrong. So we'll just use that. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our piece of white, so I have all of these items. I'm going to take our piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to put these pieces over, but I did want to, I guess I should show you what the end creation that I'm going for. And that's this card right here. So you can see where I've used the stencil to create this background. My intent, and which I felt like I was successful, is I didn't want something to dominate the front of my card, but I definitely wanted something to give it that little touch of interest, or that pizzazz, or whatever you'd like to call it. So this is what we're going to do right now. I'm going to do it with you. I don't have one that's already done, so this will be something we're going to do together. So I have a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. They're 5. I usually will have a bigger piece to ink blend on, and then just cut it down. But at this time, this was kind of like a leftover piece when I was working, so we're just going to use this. And I'm going to use my sticky mat. Now, this isn't something that Stampin' Up! Has. And so if you're looking for one, I think that they're pretty common. You can just I would just Google it, and then you can find one. Now, something I wanted to share with you before I get going is all of these stencils have a number up at the corner, and there's a little notch. So if you don't have something like this and you're going to tape it, you can always line them up where you needed to just by using that notch. So if I were on regular white paper, let's just do it. If I were just, if I had this taped down and I was just using paper for the background or whatever on the background, I would take my pencil or pen. I'm going to use a pen because this is scratch paper, but and I would just mark the notch just like that. Then I would know every time that that's where I need to line up my stencil. That would be very important if you're doing like layering, because most of the time you can line them up without that, but this would be a good way to make sure. So I didn't want to call your attention to that. I know you can't see it on the video. I'm sure of it. Maybe you can. Let me see if I hold it up. I don't think you can. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it. See, there's the one right there. So, you know, sometimes I take a Sharpie and I will, you know, write that number just because it helps later on. But this one we're going to use independently, and this is actually number 5. So I'm just going to lay it on here. And this is the beauty of this sticky mat, is that everything sticks to it. So my cardstock and my stencil are not going to be moving around. So that's kind of neat. Let's go ahead and get started now, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I really think this is cool. So here's our Mossy Meadow. That's what we're using today. I know it's got Mossy Meadow on it because that's what I used last. But it's just good to get in the habit of wiping off your brush. If you're going to use a brush for each color family, it's super important if you do that, because if I had previously used, say this was a light green like soft seafoam, and I had used Mossy Meadow, and then I just stuck my brush in there and hadn't cleaned it off, I could not only compromise my ink pad, but I would have an offset color, maybe not what I wanted on here. So it's just a good idea to just get in the habit of it. So I'm going to take my blending brush and just gently, you can tap, you can kind of rub, but it does need to be kind of gentle, because it's already got a lot of green on, so you can't tell how much more green I put on there. But I also like to kind of just wipe it off, or start up here at the top, because if you go right directly onto your cardstock where those holes are, you're going to get like blobs. And if that's what you want, that's fine. And sometimes you can correct it. See that kind of blob? If that was directly on all the holes, that hole would have darker ink maybe than the rest of the card. Also, I just did kind of ink maybe unnecessarily, but there's a lot of ink on here, and I know when you're looking through this white mask, you're like, that's kind of weird, because there's like some ink you can see, but when you look down, you don't see how much ink is on the paper, right? All you see is kind of white. But trust me, there's ink there. And if you want to, with this sticky mat, you could lift up your stencil. Now, I don't like to do that too much because you're going to, you know, break down that stencil if you're not careful. So, and the beauty of these stencils also is that to clean them, you can just clean them with your chamois or, you know, just with a soft, damp rag. You can clean them off, or you can take them to the sink and rinse them under water. So there is, I just wanted it very faint. I didn't want a big one. Now, while I'm doing that, I did want to kind of show you some of those other stencils and how they work. So I'm looking for just a plain, I'm just going to get plain printer paper. But of course, if you're going to be creating your design, you're going to want cardstock, right? So we're just going to keep using that Mossy Meadow. But here's just a piece of the printer paper, and I'm not going to be able to use the sticky mat for my stencil because now I've got it's covered, right? But I'm going to just use, let me reach for it. I'm just going to use a sticky note to keep it down, and I am going to use that trick of, and actually let's move, no, let's keep it. I was going to move that sticky mat, but we'll keep it for the big paper. Okay, we're still going to use the Mossy Meadow, but here's what it kind of looks like when you use all of those, all of the other stencils. And I am going to keep my, although I think I'm going to, I felt it move a little more than I wanted it to. I'm going to stick this down as well. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to keep, and this would be way cool if you're going to do a lattice. You could have some flowers from the Linked Together Sentiments, but you could use some die cuts. You could also use the Flowers of Beauty. That would be nice to have moving up here on the lattice. So I'm just going to do this for a little bit. I'm just trying to fill in all the colors. I mean all the holes. Now you see here there's a little blob. That's because I didn't clean off my brush before I put it down there. It probably is going to affect it. And see, it did. You see how it's more, you can see those spots. So that's why I'm telling you, you really do want to clean off your brush. All right, I'm going to move this now. That's what I was going to do. But all right, so we're going to go with number 2. And this is number 2. And we're going to put that in that notch up here. And you can also see where you had your previous stencil. So you can see the white. See, I'm off. You can see that. So if I line it up with a notch and I line it up here, then I know that I've got it where it needs to go. Let's try this. Okay, so they're going to take the same color. And we'll just keep going here. And I like to hold my brush up here. If you push it down, it just depends on you. That's not a fast rule, but because I tend to like, when I'm really getting into it, and I don't always watch the force or how hard I'm pushing. So I don't want to ruin my brushes. And I really can honestly tell you I'm not sure if I could, but why take a chance, right? Okay, so that was number 2. Let's go ahead and try number 3. And I'll clean these off later, these stencils. But you can see how it's making a different design there. You can see how like it's giving it, the white part is very pronounced. Okay, this is number 3. We're gonna line it up. Let's see, number 3, come on, here we go. Okay, so we're going to, again, secure our mask. And you could totally change colors if you want. I think the big thing would be to play with this and, you know, see what kind of designs that you can come up with. I'm going to show you an example of doing this layering thing. So let's see if we have any difference. So you can kind of see how it's getting more dimensional. You can see the dimension there. And then this would be the last one that you could do. I'm not going to do that. But you definitely could. I just wanted to do this so that you could see how the difference that you can get. All right, so let's just kind of clean up here. I've got kind of a mess going on. And I kind of got a little carried away there, but let's go ahead. So, you know, I just shared with you about the different laying things down and doing different layers with the same color. So this is Moody Mauve, and you can see how there's like a design. So you can see that design in here. And then this is another mask. This is called Layers of Beauty. And so you can see with the masks too, here you can see how this is like more natural how flowers are. So there's some dimension, there's some definition. But you can see that the masks are really, really give you another way to create those backgrounds. And I did kind of leave the middle blank here because I didn't want the whole, I just didn't want the whole background, and I don't have a rhyme or reason, but I didn't want the whole background to be completely this design. So I just kind of masked it off. And then I just put the same stencil right down here so I could give the inside some pizzazz and just draw it in with the front. So Moody Mauve is one of those colors that's going to be retiring. So if you really like it, now is the time to get it. All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to put this away because I already have ink on my fingers. That's no big surprise. So I am going to wipe them off because I don't want that ink on our card. All right, so let's go ahead and start with our card. So here's what we just created. And I wanted to do one more thing while we're creating. So I'm going to, I wanted to decorate the envelope right here. So I am going to wipe this off that we used because I don't want to risk getting that green ink on the rest. And I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm just taking a, just taking a wet cloth, and you can see how well they come off. It comes off. And I don't run them under the sink every time, but sometimes I feel like I really want to. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna lay this. Because the envelope is whiter than the print on the mask, I'm just gonna lay this just like that. And then I'll move it over. So I'm just seeing that this hole is on the end of the envelope. That's how I'm measuring it. We'll go back to our mossy meadow. And by the way, this sticky mat is washable. So if I get ink on it, I'll just wipe it off with my wet cloth. And I'm not looking to get this envelope super, I'm not trying to get a lot of ink on it. I'm just trying to give my envelope a little design here. Okay, then I'm going to take my mask and I'm going to move it over so I see where those where I ended. So let's just go ahead and start again right there. Okay, and so it's really very faint, but you can make it again as dark as you want. That would be up to you. I do want to clean off that blending brush because next time I go to use it, I don't want to mess. All right, we are through with the ink and this ink pad. So let's move it. Let's start with our card. So here we go with our card. Here is the first layer that I'm going to put on this card base. Now this card base is, excuse me, 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it in the middle at 5 1/2. We're going to take our bone folder and we're just going to crisp up that fold line, just like that. And this is a good time to make sure that this is a good time to make sure. Sometimes when we're scoring or cutting, sometimes we don't get things exactly perfect. Maybe the card moves or the cardstock moves a little or something. But just go ahead and, you know, straighten it out now. There we go. Yeah. And then your cardstock will lay, right? This is going to be the top layer. This is pumpkin, not pumpkin pie, peach pie. It is one of the colors that just came out now in 2025. This happens to be a 4 by 5 piece. And then we're going to take a, this is 3 3/4 by 5, and this is the Mossy Meadow. And then this is our layer card. So I might have cut this. So we're going to need to cut it down because if we layer it, obviously you don't see any Mossy Meadow, right? So let's cut this down a little. So this was, let's see, what did I tell you? It was 3. This is 3 3/4, so we want a little bit of a margin. So this would be 3 3/4, and that's what this is. So we're going to cut it. I'm going to cut it to 3 1/2. We're using our, and I've put my trimmer up so you can see me cutting. And I'm going to use our dark blade, which is our cutting blade, and we're just going to go ahead and slice. All right, now we know that I'm just going to measure. Hopefully I did it right. Ta-da! But now the top is still too long. So here's what I see. I want to cut off some on that side and some on this side. We know that this is 5, so it's 3 3/4 by 5. So we want this to be shorter than 5, maybe 4 3/4. But I don't want to take it off of just one side. So this happens to be 5 1/4. So I'm going to take some off of each side, and I'm going to pull this down because I can see that 5 up here better when I do that. So let's just so we're just going to trim it. Okay, and then we know it's still going to be we're not going to have a margin, right? That's how we planned it. So now we're just going to flip it so we can take some off this side. I'm going to position it right at the 4 3/4, and that should give us the card that's going to fit. So let's look and see. And there we go. It fits perfectly. All right. So this is your scoring blade. So our trimmer, I love this trimmer. So it has the cutting blade and the scoring blade. I am due for a new arm here because what happens is this arm has lasted me for a very, very, very long time. I don't remember when I got it, but I just would like one that's kind of new and fresh. But I do everything on here. I do my scoring. It has an arm that extends out past 17 inches. So when I'm scrapbooking, this comes in perfect. I do have a scoring board, but I like to not have to be getting a lot of stuff out all the time. So I try to get all my stuff, you know, situated. So a lot of stuff is too much stuff. All right, so I'm going to glue this layer that we just did with the masks, and I'm going to adhere it onto the Mossy Meadow. I am using my liquid glue. You could use whatever adhesive you want. My adhesive of preference is the Stamp and Seal, but for video purposes this works better. Now I'm going to adhere this right onto that peach pie. So we've got some definite layers going. And you could use any combination of colors you want. I think it would be fun to just, you know, yeah, just do whatever, just create and have fun with it. That's the whole idea. All right, there's our layers. Now we're just going to put it on our card base. So nice, simple card, simple to create, but you can make it as fancy as you want. And so I'm going to adhere this. I want a margin all the way around. It's about 1/8 of an inch margin. Okay, there's our card. Isn't it nice? Now I took these are actually Spotlight of Nature. I have two of the magnet boards with circles on it. This is just the ones that I used. And so I did go ahead and cut 2 circles. So one out of white and one out of Mossy Meadows. And so that's the beauty of these circle dies, is you can get different edges so that it's never boring. And I love this white. I seem to use it all the time because I just like that stitched look. And I do see that there is a little piece here that I didn't punch out, so let me just check. Oops, there's a couple. I just like that stitched looks. I used to like to stitch my cards, but you know, I haven't done that in a while. All right, so this is going to be our sentiment. This is where our sentiment's going to live on our card. Whoosh, I almost messed that up, didn't I? So here's the card that we're going for, and here's the envelope. So if that's our example, we need to stamp this white first. So I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow again. And I'm using this stamp that says, enjoy your day. But you could use any stamp you want. You can make it say, you could, you know, make a birthday card. You can make, you could even, depending on what you put on here, you could make an Easter card even. So it really is whatever you want. So I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow, but this is the Heartfelt Telos is where this stamp came from. Now, I don't know, I think my, this got kind of squished somewhere in my craft room because I hadn't seen it for a while, and then all of a sudden it appeared. But I see where the top is coming off, so I'm going to have to fix that, the label. All right, let's go ahead and stamp this, and I don't even know why I shared that with you, but I did the inside of the card here too, so we'll have to do that on that one. Let's go ahead and stamp this sentiment while we have this out. And I like to stamp my sentiments on a card first to make sure I've got it all inked up. Okay. So here we go. We're just going to put it on that circle. And we're going to let that ink grab there. And there we go. Now I am going to put this to the side because I want to do the inside of this card. I thought we were finished with the stencil, but I was wrong. This is real, kind of real life here, folks. So let's see here. We'll just put it right here and we'll put that stencil. I'm going to wipe it off again. Okay, so we're just going to put, I just want a little bit down here on the bottom, that's all. And then I'll take my brush with my ink. And the scratch paper again. If you're liking this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up, and also know that you can, if you're watching on YouTube, that you can always subscribe to my channel, and if you hit that notification icon, you'll be notified when I upload a new content. And if you're watching here on Facebook, please consider following me. All of those things just help us to get our videos out to other people. And sharing is caring, right? Okay, so let's see here. Now we're done with the inside. Now let's go ahead and work on this. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue this down. I am going to use dimensionals to put it on here, but I'm not going to use dimensionals twice on this. First of all, because we know that postage has really gone up. I'm going to try and center it. Okay, and for ephemera, I took this, I actually fussy cut this out of the designer series paper that this came in, was the Wild Flower Birthday designer series paper, and there was a lot of ephemera that came in that packet, and so this was actually a card, so I got both of these out of that card, and I'm going to use it on here. So that's also the other thing with your designer series paper. You can really maximize that if you're just, you know, thinking outside the box. So let's go ahead and put this on with dimensionals. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't have a problem in probably overusing my dimensionals. I like to make sure that my sentiment strip is secure, and so whatever that works out to be in my mind, that's how many dimensionals I use. So dimensionals are relatively inexpensive. You get 3 in a pack, and they come in different sizes. We have the mini dimensionals and the regular size. The ones I'm using right now are the regular size. Sometimes you need those mini dimensionals for smaller things that you want to put down. And we also have the black dimensionals. And if you're looking for dimensionals, you can find them in my online store. Now I'm just going to place this. I want it kind of close to the edge, just kind of like that. And then I'll go ahead and put it down. And then I'm going to want this to be right there. But You see, if I glue it down like that, these have a, you know, they need to be stabilized, right? So I don't want to glue it because it gives it, this is going to have a bump in it because this is elevated. It's 2 pieces of cardstock and the dimensionals. So I'm going to need some dimensionals on the back of this as well. And this is where I'm going to pull out my mini dimensionals because where I need them, which is on this part, well, I guess I could have used the regular size. We'll just use the mini because that's what I got out. But I'm also going to cut these in half because I need these to have some dimension too, right? So I'm just going to take my snips and I'm just cutting my dimensionals. I'm cutting a little strip off right there. And then I'm going to cut this up too so that I can put it on those different leaf parts. So there's some dimension. Here's some dimension, and I just want one more there and maybe one there. Maybe not. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go ahead and take off the release paper. Now these, I will say that these release papers sometimes are all over my house. They kind of sometimes hide on your clothes. And when you least expect it, they come off. Okay. And so we're going to put some glue right here, some adhesive. This is multi-purpose glue. This is one of those dot, you don't need a lot. And if I kind of slide it on, I'll feel the resistance of the dimensionals. And then we can just put our ephemera or whatever you're using just right there. And that will decorate it. And so you can actually use anything, like I said. This whole video is about the background, and you can change up the colors, change up the background. You can layer those and see what you come up with. But it's all very decorative, and it's going to make somebody's day when you send them a card like that. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get my take a pick tool, and this, I did it again. So I actually accidentally released some of this tacky, and you do that by like kind of screwing the lid. I just kind of did too much. I put a new top on it because the other one was gone, and I don't know why I did that. But they're great for your embellishments because you can just like take them off with that tacky top. So I want to put like an embellishment right here to draw your eye to the sentiment. And then I am going to tell you, I like to do my, this came up the wrong way. I like to do my, I like to do my, sorry guys, I got this stuck in my fingernail. I like to do my embellishments in odd numbers. Gosh, that took a lot to spit that out. I'm sorry. And I'm going to put the other one, if I can get it, off. We'll just try a new one because I'm not going to fight with it. Okay, so I'm going to put that right up here where there is a little space. And I'm going to cut this off. I thought I could squish it down, but Gosh, I hate to lose that tacky. All right, so I need 3. So they do say that your eye is drawn to odd numbers. It's more appealing to your eye. So there we go. Now, I feel like it's still missing something. Oh, by the way, these are the faux glass dots. And yeah, sometimes they have friends that jump on. All right. So I have some old ribbon. I don't know where I got it. It looks like it might be maybe a Michael's thing. But you could use any ribbon. I just wanted to use this up. I do much prefer our ribbon out of our catalog. Just because it usually coordinates with the colors well. If it's peach pie, it doesn't matter if it's cardstock, ink, alcohol markers, ribbon, it doesn't matter. Designer series paper, that color is going to be consistent with whatever medium you're using. So that also goes for the bows. So I just tied a little knot. This is going to be a faux bow, and we're going to put it on our card. Sometimes twine or ribbon will really dress up your card, and it doesn't have to be in your face kind of thing, just something kind of pretty. So to put that on my card, I'm going to take my glue dots, and I just stick my bow or the knot right there. There's some little sticky glue dots. That's exactly what they are. It's on my finger. I don't know what's with my fingers today. Everything seems to like them. All right, and then so I have that little glue dot on the back, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stick it right there. And so that will give my card just some more interest. And then we're really done with this card. But I wanted to show you, and you can stamp whatever you want on the inside. I didn't stamp anything on there, but I will before I send it out. So I wanted to show you that this is the first card that I did with the Moody Mauve. And then here's another card that I did, and I wanted to talk about this card. This card is, again, this is using the peach pie, the white piece of basic white cardstock, and I used this stencil on it. And so I just did like one application of this, and then I flipped it over, and this is the design I got right here. So you can see, if you can see it, you can see where there's like lighter and darker, but it's all that peach pie. So this was fun to play with too. You know what I want to do is I want to go back and maybe put some glitter paste on it, or some, yeah, some different colors maybe, and maybe experiment and do it on different colored cardstock. That would be fun too. So I am going to do that. But then what I did is, you can see the texture around these layers, and that's because I used the textured note dies. I don't have it on a magnet board yet, but you can see the different textures here, and so I just use those to cut out each layer, and you can see that they're different, right? This looks like maybe some double stitching, and then this actually does look like some crisscross, and then this just looks like a double hemline kind of thing. So anyway, that's what I did, and this stamp is from the Layers of Beauty. So I did use the garden green here, and then I did, so it was kind of, I had to fix something. I felt like I used the peach pie for the flowers, and then I thought that's pretty dark, so I went back. So that's using this. So I stamped this, which is like the base, the green part. Then I went back and I used this with peach pie, and I felt it was kind of dark. So then I went back and used this with Daffodil Delight, and that's what gave me the two different colors. And then this happy birthday is also from the Saying Hey stamp set. So I used that, and all I did was just stamp it with the memento, and then I just cut this peach pie. It was just a strip I had, and I just cut points on it so it could look kind of like ribbon. And then this ribbon is actually, it was around Christmas time when we could get this ribbon, and this is shaded spruce. So I just put them all together on this card, and then I pulled out some embellishments from my stash and just used them on the card. And then here is the bottom. This is part of what I cut off of this layer. So this is not one that I blended. It's cut off of that. So there we go. So here are our cards, and eventually they'll all be posted on the website if you need to go and look at the measurements again. But the point is these stencils, these masks, are made for you to experiment and to decorate your cards, to give you some backgrounds that are fun. And the limit of how you can use them is up to you. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't, if you don't have these yet, this is maybe something you could use. You could use in so many ways to decorate your cards. Also, the other set of stencils I used for this card are the Layers of Beauty, and they come in, there's 5 of them. I originally, before I had eye surgery, I originally had put a number on the back side. Well, some of those numbers were wrong, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you can see I really messed up, right? But that's all corrected now, so we don't have that problem. But you can see that you get these beautiful flowers, and what's neat about it is you could use any color of flowers and then just fussy cut them and put them out on your card. All right, so thank you so much for spending time with me, and the ultimate compliment would be to share this video, and I'll see you again next time. You all have a great weekend. Thanks, and bye.